Game 2 of the 3-game series, Marty Patton against Vida Blue. We're getting set to go. Hope you enjoy it. With the play-by-play of the night's game, here's Denny Matthews. Well, thanks, Red. Hi, everybody. A very pleasant good evening to you. Here we go again. Well, we had some excitement last night, more of the same expected this evening. And it'll be Bill North, Bert Campaneris, and Joe Rudy in that order. Tomorrow night, Dennis Leonard against Mike Torres. Dennis will be trying to win his 18th. Mike Torres will be out after win number 15. And game time is tonight, 7:30. Bill North last night, 2 out of 4. He singled twice. So Bill hitting .275 with 2 homers, 29 RBIs. Bill, the switch hitter, he'll be on the left side against Marty Patton. For Marty, his 14th start of the year. It is his second start against the A's. Marty is 0-2 against Oakland this year. His start came in Oakland, and Vida Blue blanked the Royals 2-0. Marty went 6 innings, allowing 6 hits and 2 runs. Otis will shade Bill North around in left center field. Tom Poquette not in the lineup tonight. Of course, the Royals not using all their left-hand batters, but with Vida Blue pitching, and as Fred said, boy, he has just been pitching outstanding baseball. The game being delayed as they get the banners off of the right field wall. There are 2 banners draped over the wall. So they are asking the fans to please remove those banners. In Philadelphia tonight, Pete Falcone, Cardinal left-hand pitcher, was taken out of the ballgame when Elliot Maddox of the Phillies led off the 3rd inning and hit a line drive back to the mound and hit Falcone on the left forearm. And they have taken Pete to the hospital. The Cardinals are leading the Phillies in that ballgame 4-1 in the 3rd inning. All right, we're set to go. The banners have been removed. Bill North, the batter. A very slight breeze drifting toward the right field corner tonight. The first pitch is nubbed out in front of the plate. Patton off the mound. He's got it over to first in time. So Bill North, going after the first pitch, bounces one back to the mound. 1 pitch, 1 out. Here's Bert Campaneris. Campy hitting .266. 1 homer, 48 RBIs. He was 1 out of 4 last night. He doubled and scored the A's run. Campaneris hitting .261 against the Royals. Ball game just underway. The crowd's still coming in. Tonight's crowd will be bigger than last night. Campaneris takes high, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes on Campaneris. The pitch to the right-hand batter. Half swing, Wolford into shallow left. Out goes Pontiac. In comes Wolford. And it's Pontiac to drop the ball. And Campaneris will be at second base safely. Now the ball gets away from Weiss and Mayberry backing up the play. Pontiac will draw an air. Jim Wolford coming in behind Freddie, and I think Fred's peeked to see where Jim was. He had the ball in his glove, and it got away. So Fred will draw an air. And the batter, Joe Rudy. Joe hitting .284, 12 home runs, 91 RBIs. Joe in the ballgame last night, 1 out of 4. He doubled to drive in Campaneris. We mentioned last night the Royals pitching staff has had very good luck with Joe Rudy this year. Joe hitting just .128 against the Royals, 5 out of 39. Runner at second, 1 away. Ball game has just started. Patton set. Low and outside and backhanded by Buck Martinez. 1 ball, no strikes. With the injuries to Steve Busby and Paul Splittorff, Marty Patton has helped fill the void in the starting pitching rotation, he and Andy Hassler. And Marty is a starter, 7 wins and 4 losses, and a very good ERA of 2.37. So you see those numbers and you say, yes, he has really helped. An off-speed breaking ball is popped up to left. Out goes Pontiac. In comes Wolford, and it's Wolford to make the catch. And that time the communication between Pontiac and Wolford was good. There are 2 out, and up comes Gene Tennant. Gene, a .252 hitter, 20 home runs, 61 RBIs. Gene a double in 4 tries in the ballgame last night. He is hitting an even .300 against the Royals. Right-hand hitting catcher. Fine power. Bert Campaneris at second base, 2 down. A's batting in the top of the first. Patton to the belt. The pitch to Tennis, outside, ball 1. Marty has pitched very well here at Royal Stadium. 4 wins against just 1 loss. The stretch, 1 ball, no strikes. The next one to Tennis. Slider is huge foul off the end of the bat. 1 ball and 1 strike on Gene Tennis. Royals trying to win their 6th in a row. Royals victorious in 6 of their last 7. Their lead over Oakland, 7 games. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner at second, 2 out. Patton to Tennis. Top foul backing out of play. 1-2 to Gene. Following the ball game tomorrow night, the Royals go down to Texas for 3 games, then out to Oakland for a 3-game series, and they'll finish the regular schedule against Minnesota here on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of October. Friday night, Saturday night, and a Sunday afternoon contest to finish off the regular season. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Gene Tennis. Bert Campaneris, good lead at second. The Royals playing Tennis to pull. Pull he does, and he lines it over Brett, and just foul. Foul by less than a foot down the left field line. Tennis missing extra bases, and an RBI by less than a foot. The Gene back to the plate, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tennis, a great fastball hitter. That's the only way to put it. So naturally, he sees a lot of breaking balls, off-speed pitches. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That last pitch that Marty threw is a slider. Back he comes. Looks like a fastball, and he hits it to left field and deep. Back goes Wolford to the wall. Jim leaps up, and it's a home run for Gene Tennis. Tennis pulls one into the seats and left, and the A's lead 2-0. It appeared to be a fastball up. So Gene Tennis has his 21st home run, and the A's have a 2-0 lead. So with the help of the air, the A's have 2 on the board. And here's Sal Bando. Sal hitting .231, 25 homers, 80 RBI. Going outside, ball 1. Bando 2 for 4 last night, both singles. The 1-0 pitch to Sal. Change up his line, foul down the left field line. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bando hitting .439 against the Royals. A half a dozen home runs. He has 18 hits. Marty's 1-1 pitch. High and outside, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike to Bando. Foul ball backing out of play. 2-2 to Sal. Dennis with 2 RBIs. He now has 63 for the year. Right-hand batter waiting. The 2-2 pitch to Sal Bando on the way. Lined over Frank Clyde into right center. Base hit. Collins plays it on 1 hop. And hit number 2 for Oakland. Bando, a 2-out single into right center. The batter, Don Baylor. Don's average is .251. 15 home runs, 67 RBIs. It could have been a 1-2-3 inning. Bert Campaneris reaching on the air by Fred Potek with 1 out. Joe Rudy then fied to left field. That would have been the 3rd out. Breaking ball outside corner. Strike 1 to Don Baylor. Don a single in 4 tries last night. He has hit 4 home runs against Royals pitching. Take over to first, the runner back. The A's have 2 runs in the bank and lead 2-0 in the top of the first. The pitch to Baylor is hammered into right center field. Collins on the dead run. Over his head, up against the wall. The run will score. Baylor around second, and he puts on the brake. 3-0 Oakland as Don Baylor doubles into right center. 68 RBIs for Don Baylor. Here comes Claudell Washington. Claudell's average, 250. 4 homers, 47 RBIs. The Royals bullpen springs into action. Right-hander Tom Bruno begins to throw. Claudell, left-hand batter. He is a fine runner. The A's have given Vida Blue 3 runs, and they're not finished yet. Blue has been pitching tremendous baseball. The Royals can ill afford to give up any more. Washington swings and misses 0-1. The Royals have handled Claudell pretty well. He's hitting 208 against the Royals staff. 0-1. Marty Patton comes set at the belt. Here's his pitch. Inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Marty's only loss here at Royal Stadium as a starter came on the 7th of September. The California Angels beat him 2-1. A 1-1 pitch. Change up is popped up. John Mayberry coming down the first baseline. Foul territory. He's got it about halfway between first and home. That ends the inning, but the A's score 3 unearned runs. 3 runs, 3 hits. A man left aboard. And after half an inning, A's 3, Royals coming up.
Earlier, we told you about that Chicago-Pittsburgh game. Chicago beating Pittsburgh 4-3. 4 runs, 10 hits, and no errors for Chicago. 3 runs, 9 hits, and no errors for the Pirates. Medic and Tekulve for Pittsburgh. Bonham and Coleman for Chicago. The relievers figured in the decision as Chicago scored the winner in the bottom of the 9th. Coleman got the win. He's 4-12. Tekulve, the losing pitcher, 5-3. Richie Hebner hit his 8th home run for Pittsburgh. A solo shot in the first inning. Elsewhere in the National League, St. Louis scored 4 times in the first inning, and now after 3 is leading the Phils 4-1 at Philadelphia. Falcone and Walker for St. Louis, Cott, Schuler, and Twitchell for Philadelphia. Brock hit his 4th home run for the Cardinals with 1 on in the first. Now, the pitching changes for Philadelphia necessitated by good hitting by St. Louis. The St. Louis pitching change necessitated by an injury to Falcone. He was taken out of the game when Maddox hit a line shot that hit him in the left forearm, and Falcone is being taken to the hospital for precautionary measures and for x-rays. So Walker into that ball game for St. Louis with a 4-1 lead after 3. The Mets in Montreal, no score after 1. Matlack against Landreth. San Diego and Cincinnati, and the Reds are leading at 2-1 after an inning and a half. Strom and Gullett are the pitchers. Rader hit his 8th home run for San Diego with none on in the 2nd inning. Atlanta at Houston just getting underway. LaCourte against Annuar, and later on
Well, the A's have given Vida Blue 3 runs with which to work. Jim Wolford, Al Collins, and George Brett will try to get the Royals offense in gear. Jim hitting 252. Vida Blue's first pitch, low and inside, ball 1. Blue seeking his 17th win. His earned run average a sparkling 2.45. Fastball grounded back to the mound. Speared by Blue to throw on Wolford. 1 gone, and here comes Al Collins. Al is hitting 264. He has 3 homers and 59 RBI. Blue has won 5 of his last 6 decisions and 9 of his last 12. Is 1-1 against the Royals this year. Collins takes inside, ball 1. The Royals beat Vida Blue here 8-5 on the 2nd of July. He lasted just 5 innings. The 1-0 pitch. Strike at the knees at 1-1. After losing to the Royals here, he came back strong against the Royals in Oakland on the 23rd of July. He allowed just 6 hits. And he beat them 2-0, striking out 13. The 1-1 pitch. Ground ball back to the mound. Vida Blue throws out Collins. 2 up, 2 down, and here comes Brett. George with an average of 335. 6 homers, 63 RBI. Leads the league in hits, total bases, and triples. He is second to Hal McCray in hitting. Hal hitting 337. George 2 points behind. A's 3, Royals nothing. Bottom of the first. Vida throws a strike, 0-1.
against Vida Blue, 3 out of 7 this year. Change-up curve, takes it left field. With 2 out, Brett singles into left. Up comes Hal McClure, the league leading hitter. 8 homers, 68 RBIs. He's hitting .421 against the A's. The Royals trying to climb back in this ball game. The A's got 300 runs in the top of the first. Brett a pretty good lead. The pitch to Hal McClure is a fastball for a strike on 1. One striking number with regard to Vida Blue. Already he has worked in 268 innings, and he has given up just 8 home runs. Only 8 all year. Fouled back by McClure. Hal is pretty well tied up with a fastball. The advantage to Vida Blue. No balls, 2 strikes. And your participating True Value Hardware store. No balls, 2 strikes to McClure. Brett at first, 2 out. Ground ball. Bando, bad hop off his glove out into left field and down the line. Brett to third base. George is going to try to score. He ran right through the stop sign. Throw to third. Safe. McClure to third. He is out at third. McClure claiming that Bando did not tag him, but he's out. A bouncing ball, and Bando, as he got set to field the ball, it took a bad hop. It appeared that it hit the edge of the sliding pit. It rolled slowly down the left field line. It will be ruled a bad hop double for Hal McClure. Brett ran right through the stop sign. And he scored, so the Royals get a run on 2 hits. Nobody left. And after 1 inning of play, A's 3, Royals 1. A couple of finals from the American League. Cleveland has shut out Detroit by the score of 3-0. 3-8-2 for Cleveland. No runs, 3 hits, and an error for Detroit. Jim Bibby got the win. He's 13-6. Ray Bear, the loser, he drops to 7-8. Baltimore has taken the first game of a doubleheader from the New York Yankees on a 4-hit shutout by Jim Palmer. 2-7-0 for Baltimore. No runs, 4 hits, and 2 errors for New York. Single runs for the Orioles in the 4th and 6th innings. Palmer is now 22-13, the winningest pitcher in the major leagues. Ellis for New York is now 16-8. May against Figueroa in that second game. Milwaukee scored 2 runs in the top half of the first inning against Boston. Jerry Augustine pitching against Dick Pohl in that ball game. Oakland and Kansas City, the game you're listening to right now on the Freight of Sports. Minnesota at Chicago underway shortly. Bill Singer against Rich Gossage. And Texas is at California later on. Gaylord Perry going for his 14th win of the season. Don Kirkwood, the scheduled pitcher for California. Second inning, 3-1 in favor of Oakland. Ron Fairley leads off. Ron hitting .263 since joining the A's last week. The A's acquired Fairley from the St. Louis Cardinals. Bouncing ball, Frank White to his right. He's got it. Over to Mayberry, 1 away. Bill North starting the ball game. Went after the first pitch and grounded out. Fairley hits Patton's first pitch in the second inning on a ground to Frank White. 1 away, up comes Phil Garner, the second baseman. Phil's average is .262. 7 home runs, 66 RBIs. Garner, a right-hand batter. Sign given by Buck Martinez. Wind up by Marty. And the pitch to Phil Garner. Breaking ball outside, ball 1. Mike Ivey is homered for San Diego in the third with a man on. The Padres lead the Reds 3-2, but Cincinnati clinched the Western Division title of the National League last night. Ground ball, Frank White. Nice big hop. On to Mayberry, 2 gone. Now the leadoff man, Bill North. Bill 0 for 1. At the plate. He's a first ball hitter. He takes a strike. He had shortened up as just a bunt. The A's 3 runs on 3 hits. The Royals have a run on 2 hits. Chopper towards short. Potek charging hard. And he can't find the handle. As he made the exchange from his glove to his throwing hand, he was bobbling the ball and never could recover.
And the way Bill North runs, that's all the edge he needed. It will be an infield hit for Bill North. The batter, Bert Campaneris, who reached on the air by Potek in the first. That error kicked open the door for 3 runs. North leading the major leagues with 70 stolen bases. And with 2 out and the A's leading by 2, he would be a good bet to go. He has a stolen base against Marty Patton already this year. One on, 2 out. North a good lead. Patton set at the belt. He steps back off the rubber. Marty has a pretty quick move to first. He shows it to Bill North there, and Bill dives back. Marty's problems with base stealers comes from his slow release. Bert Campaneris waiting at the plate. Bill North inching off the bag. Campy takes a little bit outside. North made a good bluff move towards second base. He had both Potek and White moving. 1 ball and no strikes on Campaneris. The A's lead by 2 in the top of the second inning. Signal given, now the stretch. The pitch is a little bit high. 2 balls, no strikes. Marty that time came set in a little different place. He came set at the letters rather than going all the way down to the belt. Jim Palmer would come to mind. He does that very well. Jim has about 5 set positions. Firing to first, North just did get back. If you're a base runner facing Jim Palmer, and you're trying to guess where he's going to come set, he's got you. He can come set in front of the bill of the cap, in front of his chin, at the neck, at the letters. There goes North. Campaneris swings and misses. Throw to second. Base! Bill North just did get in under the throw. His 71st stolen base. 2 balls and a strike on Campaneris. Balls, 1 strike on Campy. Now North has a huge lead at second base. Neither Potek or White. He's going to third. The pitch outside, the throw to third. Safe there. He just had too big a lead at second base. And that was an open invitation to go to third. The count on Campaneris now 3-1. Not that he's that much better off at third than at second with 2 outs. But now he could score on a wild pitch or a pass ball. An infield hit. That would not be true if he were at second base. But Bill given all the room he needed at second, and he swiped third easily. Campaneris slices it foul and out of play. 3 balls and 2 strikes on the Oakland shortstop. The A's as a team now have 326 steals. Only one other team in baseball history has stolen more. The 3-2 pitch to Campaneris. Base hit left center, and the run is across. So he would have scored from second on that hit. 4-1 Oakland. Campaneris drives in his 49th, and the Royals bullpen goes into action again. Tom Bruno, who is throwing in the first, is again up. The hitter, Joe Rudy. Joe, a fly ball to left field in the first inning. Galen Cisco, the Royals pitching coach, advancing out toward the mound. So as they talk things over at the mound, we'll pause for station identification. This is the Royals Baseball Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
You're listening to the voice of information for the American Forces at 790 and 1420. SCN Canal Zone.
Houston Fred White at Royal Stadium. The A's lead 4-1. Ball game in the top of the second. Campaneris at first, 2 down. This started with 2 outs. North chopped one toward Matek, and Freddie couldn't find the handle as he tried to get the ball out of his glove. And then North stealing second and third. Campaneris got him home with a looping single into left center. Now Campaneris may try to steal. He has 53. Joe Rudy, a right-hand batter, so Buck Martinez will get a good look at Campaneris. It'll be up to Marty Patton to keep him close. Marty's throw goes over that way, and Campaneris is back. By Patton, the throw to first. Campaneris back fighting. Royals winning the first game of the series last night, 3-1. But here in the top of the second tonight, the Royals trailing 4-1. And the problem being behind a club like the A's, they can run wild. With the kind of speed the A's have, they will run when they're down 4-1. It's their best weapon, so they score most of their runs in that fashion. And they figure even if they're down 3, they'll still go. Again, Patton is after Campaneris, and again, Campy back to the bag and now asking for time. Only the 1911 Giants have stolen more bases than the Oakland A's. Way back in 1911, the Giants stole 347. The A's, as we mentioned, are now at 326. The time's running up. Rudy takes high. 1 ball, no strikes. Right-hander Tom Bruno continues to work in the Royals bullpen. The A's scored 3 in the first, 1 in the second. The Royals got a run in the bottom of the first, but the A's have gotten that one back. Campaneris inching off the bag. Marty's throw to Mayberry and Campy back. Campy may figure this is a good pitch to go. 1 ball, no strike. Rudy deep in the batter's spot. Joe swings and foul tip. 1 ball and 1 strike. Started with 2 outs. Joe Rudy with 133 hits. The Royals are shading him just slightly toward right center. They give him either line. Joe lifts a fly ball into short right center. Everybody chasing it. Who will get it? Collins makes the catch. There were 4 Royals out there. Otis, Collins, Matek, and White. So it was Al Collins to end the inning. But the A's get a run on 2 hits and 2 stolen bases. A man left aboard. And as the Royals come to bat in the bottom of the second, it is Oakland 4 and the Royals 1. Joe Wallace singled with 1 out in the 9th inning Wednesday to score rookie Jerry Tabb from second base and give the Chicago Cubs a 4-3 victory over Pittsburgh, and that moves the Pirates a game closer to elimination in the National League East. That loss is the Pirates' 5th in the last 6 games, and it drops them 5.5 games behind first place Philadelphia, which played St. Louis Wednesday night. Tabb, a pinch hitter, opened the 9th for the Cubs when he drew a walk from loser Kent to Colby and went to second on Rob Sparing's sacrifice. Rick Monday was walked intentionally before Wallace singled to short right field. But the Phils are having problems against St. Louis, the Cardinals leading 5-1 after 4.5. I know that the people at the network stations are aware of this, but effective with this ballgame, AFRTS is not airing the ABC News and Brief news for the baseball games for the remainder of the season. But I know that, as I mentioned, I know the stations know about it, and now you listeners know about it in addition. Okay, let's get back to the action now. The Oakland A's and the Kansas City Royals at Kansas City's Royals. Royals trail 4-1 as they bat in the bottom of the second. Amos Otis will lead off against Vida Blue. Amos is hitting .286. 17 home runs, 84 RBIs. Of course, he was hit by a pitch ball. He was hit in the batting helmet by Stan Monson last night. He's bounced back. He's in the lineup. He'll be followed by Mayberry and White. The Royals 3 down, but a long way to go. getting ready. His pitch is blowing outside, ball one. Otis wants the plate umpire to look at the ball. We went through this in Oakland. You might remember, Ida Blue ended up rolling the ball into Otis. One ball, no strikes on Amos. The A's left-hander brings it home. He caught the outside corner in the count 1-1. Ida Blue, lifetime. 11 wins, 8 losses against the Royals. But here at Royal Stadium, Blue has won only twice, and he has lost 6. Amos swings at a fastball and misses. 1-2. Amos has hit well against the A's. 3-11. Blue's 1-2 pitch. Struck him out. Ida has his first strikeout. The batter, John Mayberry. John hitting .238, 13 home runs, 94 RBIs. John has handled Ida Blue pretty well this year, 4 out of 7 with a couple of doubles. They're moving Campaneris into shallow center field for John. The pitch is low and outside, ball one. 4-1 Oakland. Royals are batting in the bottom of the second. Blues pitch to John Mayberry. Bouncing ball, fairly backing up for the big hop. Ron will take Mayberry unassisted, and there are 2 out. Here comes Frank White. Frank's average .237. 2 home runs, 46 RBI. Has hit over 300 in his last 50 games, 304 to be exact. Royals scored their first run with 2 out in the first inning. Fastball is up and in, ball one. Brett singled, and then Hal McClure doubled off Bando's glove. Brett scored all the way from first. Popped up, foul territory. Ron Fairley is there to make the catch. And Blue has a very easy inning. So the Royals go 1-2-3. And after 2 innings of play, A's 4, Royals 1. Champagne parties are becoming a habit in the Cincinnati clubhouse. The Reds clinching the National League's Western Division title for the 5th time in the last 7 years, and they did it last night, which would be, of course, Tuesday, by whipping San Diego 9-1. And perhaps the happiest man in the clubhouse is Pat Zachary, who went the distance in the Reds clincher. George Foster had 3 hits, scored a couple of times, and knocked in 2 to support the rookie right-hander. In the National League East, Philadelphia increased its lead to 5 over the Pirates by beating the Cardinals 5-1, and the Pirates split in Chicago, tripping the Cubs 4-3 in the opener, but losing the nightcap 2-1 in 13. Montreal shut out the Mets 4-0. Atlanta downed Houston 6-2, and Los Angeles edged San Francisco 3-2. In the American League West, Kansas City extended its lead to 7 with a 3-1 victory over the A's in the opener of that 3-game series. Baltimore outslugged the Yankees 11-8 in 10. Rookie Mark Fidrich won his 17th as Detroit topped Cleveland 5-3, and Minnesota dumped the White Sox 13-6. Innings in the book, 4-1 in favor of the A's. 4 runs, 5 hits. Royals to run on 2 hits and 1 error. Gene Tennis, Sal Bando, and Don Baylor. That's the middle of the A's batting order. Marty Patton set to go, so the 3rd inning about to start. And for more play, here's Fred. Okay, thank you, Denny. Tennis homered with a man aboard in the first. 21st home run of the year is 3rd against the Royals. A powerful right-handed batter. Patton's first pitch to him is a ball low, ball 1. All the A's damages come with 2 men out. They scored 3 in the first with 2 out, a run in the second with 2 men out. Patton ready for pitch. Ball away, ball 2. You always wonder about the complexion of a ball game. Actually, the side should have been out in the first when the A's got the home run from Tennis, then went on to get another run. 2-0 pitch. Swing and a miss by Tennis. It's 2 balls and a strike. Had the 3 men been out as they should have been, would the A's be on the board now? The type of thing you never know, but you always wonder about. Then he told you Tennis a good ball hitter. Brett, the third baseman, deep in near the line. Potek, deep and in the hole. The outfield way around the left. 2-1 pitch. Breaking pitch for a strike. Little off-speed pitch that found the strike zone. Tennis fooled by it, taking all the way, and the count's even 2-2. Now Frank White way around their second base. Royals defy Tennis to go the opposite way. The 2-2 pitch. Ground ball just over the bag fair to Brett. The long throw in time, and there's one away. So again, the Royal defense set correctly. And it's 1 out, nobody on. To Sal Bando, who singled and scored his first time up. Sal, 233 against the American League this year, but a phenomenal hitter against the Royals. He now has 19 hits and 42 times at the plate against Royal pitching. Moreover, he's 4 for 6 against Marty Patton. So he has handled the Royals well. He has hit Patton well. Right-handed batter in, he has 25 homers. The pitch, the ball up to high, ball 1. The Royals played Bando to pull. Their defense not that much unlike it was for tennis. He singled the opposite way the last time. Pitch to him is lined on the left field line. Foul ball. And it's 1-1. Bando turning on a pitch and ripping it foul. Don Baylor next. 4-1 A's. We're into third. And Patton with a 1-1 pitch. Popped up in center field. Al Cowens and Amos Otis pitching together. Now Cowens makes the call and the catch. And Bando flies to right. Twice tonight, Cowens has handled the ball. Otis could have taken, but Amos bothered still by headaches today, and Cowens taking all he can out there. Here's the Royals radio salute to these Cook paint dealers in our area. Riley Lumber Company in Riley, Kansas. Williamsburg Hardware in Williamsburg, Kansas. And Wolfencroft Hardware in Centralia, Kansas. First pitch to Baylor. The strike to the outside corner, strike 1. Baylor doubled to deep right center his first time up, drove in a run. Patton set it again the pitch. Just missed, and the count's even 1-1. Cubs 4, the Pirates 3 a final. The Cardinals are beating the Phillies 4-1 after 5 in Philadelphia. Phillies missing a golden opportunity to pick up more ground. The pitch popped up. On the right side, Frank White, the second baseman, backpedaling in shallow right. Sets under it, makes the catch, and the inning's over. Baylor pops to second for the first time in the ballgame. The A's are down 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. And we'll go to the bottom of the third. A's 4, Royals 1.
Jim Bibby pitched a 3-hitter while Rico Cardi and Boog Powell each doubled home runs to help the Cleveland Indians beat Detroit 3-0 in the first time in 9 games. Bibby allowed a single with 1 out in the second to Ben Ogilvie. A 2-out single to Willie Horton in the 4th, and a leadoff single to Mark Wagner in the 9th, and raising his record to 13-6. He walked 2 and struck out 2. Lavelle Blanc singled with 2 out in the 1st and scored on a double by Carty, then singled again with 1 out in the 3rd and scored on Powell's double. Cleveland also tallied in the 6th on a run-scoring single by Dwayne Kuiper. In Major League Baseball action on Tuesday, Philadelphia over St. Louis 5-1. Pittsburgh and the Cubs splitting. The Pirates 4-3 in the opener. Chicago 2-1 and 13 in the nightcap. Montreal 4-0 over the Mets. Atlanta 6-2 over Houston, and the Dodgers beat San Francisco 3-2. That's what happened in the National League on Tuesday.
Bottom of the third, 4-1 A's. Boy, Royal Stadium is filled up since this ball game began. It's not capacity, but it's not that far off right now. Still some seats if they're in the area. A long way to go tonight. The bottom of the third, it'll be Patek Martinez. Then the leadoff man, Jim Wolford, against Vida Blue. Sunday with a full house, the Royals fell behind the Chicago White Sox 5-0. Then rallied to win. Maybe a bit different failing the White Sox, but failing Vida Blue and the Oakland A's, but we'll see what happens. First pitch to Patek is ripped foul down the left field line. Boy, Patek hit a bullet foul. Never was fair, in fact. Ricocheted off the wall. 1 strike to Patek. Fred has been hitting the ball well lately. His average 250. He has a 7-game hitting streak going now. Vida Blue, the left-hander, set the pitch to Patek. There's a long drive down the left field line. It is curving. It is a foul ball. Patek had home run depth. Fred Patek just hit it a mile, but foul. So Fred has hit 2 shots, and all he has to show for it is 2 strikes. The shortstop, Bert Campaneris, in to talk to Vida Blue. Saying, Vida, I don't know why you're throwing this, quit it. So Fred in the hole after hitting the ball hard twice. Vida Blue winds the pitch. Outside, ball 1. The outfield straight away. Rudy fairly deep in left. Washington shallow in center. Bando not that far off the line at third. The 1-2 pitch. Ball 2 up there. And the count evens out on Fred Patek. Royals trying to get something started, down 4-1 in the third. Blue set, the 2-2 pitch. Patek again at the foul past third. You've got Royals third base coach Chuck Hiller looking like he's in a revolving door down there. Just spinning to look at the ball go by. Patek continues to hit it foul. 2-2. Blue reading signs from Gene Tennis is set. Here's the pitch to Patek. Ball 3. So Blue had Patek in a hole, 2 strikes. Now it's a full count. Vida will not walk many. He's walked only 56 men in 270 innings this year. Not many. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Patek now. Oh, a called strike 3. Dennis dropped the ball. He tagged Patek. And Fred really upset. He thought the pitch was way inside. Jim Evans thought otherwise. Patek called out on strikes. The first strikeout. Second strikeout for Vida Blue. There was a pitch that appeared to be ball 4. No doubt in Patek's mind. In fact, he was scooting back out of the way. So here's Buck Martinez with 1 out and nobody on. Buck getting 236, 5 homers. The pitch. Outside, ball 1. As great as Blue has been, and he's been great recently, Denny was telling you, he's had problems on the road. Foul back out of play. Vida 5 and 10 on the road this year. He's 2 and 6 lifetime here in Royal Stadium. But he's won 9 of his last 12 decisions. Completed 8 of the last 11. There's a pitch. Ball 2. Vida's given up only 10 runs in his last 10 wins. So he's been stingy. The pitch. Ball 3 to Martinez. Now a 3-1 count on Buck. Martinez doesn't walk much. Buck has drawn only 13 bases on balls this year. But he'd be quite willing to do so in this situation. The Royals need base runners. We'll see what happens. 3-1 pitch. He walks him, ball 4. Now the call strike on Patek is big. Blue doesn't walk many. Came awfully close to walking Patek. And has walked Buck Martinez. Hey, if you side guys, they can walk. Well, Wolford grounded out to the pitcher his first time up in this ball game. He's hit safely in 9 of his last 10. Jim's average now 251 as he steps in against Vida Blue. Martinez a safe lead at first, barely playing a step behind him. The pitch. Patek or Wolford that lines one towards right field. Baylor giving ground is back near the warning track to make the catch. There are 2 men out. Wolford lined at the right of Baylor, who had to retreat a couple of steps in front of the warning track to make the catch. And it's 2 out to Al Cowan. George Brett would be next if Al Cowan should get aboard. He grounded out to the pitcher, Vida Blue, his first time up. Al hitting 264. Al plants his right foot on the back line of the batter's box. Sets himself. And Vida Blue to the stretch. Checks Martinez the pitch. Collins takes a strike. Butch Weiniger has homered for the Twins in the second with nobody on, his 8th of the year. Twins lead the White Sox 1-0, the bottom of the second in Chicago. 1 strike pitch to Collins here. Hot shot on the ground. Bando knocks it down. He's going to have to hurry. The throw in time. And the inning's over. Collins handcuffed Bando, but he blocked the ball and kept it in front of him. And was able to throw out Al Collins, who can run. So the Royals come away with no runs, no hits, no errors, a walk, and a man left. And we'll go to the 4th. The A's 4. Royals 1. The 4th at Royal Stadium, 4-1 A's. It'll be Claudell Washington, Ron Fairley, and then Phil Garner, the number 7, 8, and 9 hitters for the Oakland A's to face Marty Patton. We mentioned Royal Stadium is pretty well filled tonight, nearly to capacity. The press box area loaded. As you can imagine, there are many, many scouts and many, many writers here. Many of the American League cities have sent writers down to cover this series. Royals winning last night 3-1. The A's are broken on top tonight. And here's left-handed hitting Claudell Washington, who fouled out to John Mayberry his first time up. Royals claim to hit the opposite way. The pitch to him. Breaking pitch low, ball 1. It's over in left. Cowan's well off the line in right. The line by Marty Patton to pitch. Ground ball over Patton's head. Potek charging has it. Throws in time. There's one away. Good play by Fred Potek. And Claudel Washington is down short the first. Here comes Ron Fairley. He grounded the second his first time up. Was 0 for 3 last night. So Fairley, a new acquisition for the A's, 0 for 4 against the Royals so far. Left-handed batter has averaged .250 since joining the A's. Marty Patton. The pitch. It's inside, ball 1. We mentioned the Armed Forces Network joining the broadcast tonight. And it is good to have them with us, as well as all of you along a regular network. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fairley takes ball 2. Another gentleman tuning in tonight is Walt Wormuth in Charleston, Illinois, who's very, very close to Marty Patton. Followed Marty since Marty's high school career in Charleston. Marty has worked for him. Owns a restaurant that Walt formerly owned. 2-0 pitch, grounded past first, fair ball. Mayberry backhand, flips to Marty in time for the out. And there are 2 down. Rarely out, the first baseman of the pitcher covering, and it's 2 out, nobody on to Phil Garner. And Patton has now retired 6 in a row. Phil Garner bounced out to second his first time up. A .262 hitter with 7 homers, but a tough clutch hitter. The pitch to him. Loops into shallow right field. Now Cowan's on the run, drops the ball. Al trying to make a catch to the knees, couldn't hold on to it, and Garner's at first. We'll see how they rule it. Cowan's appeared to be there. So again, the A's get a base runner with 2 men out in an inning. They give him a hit on the ball. Garner credited with a single. And here's Phil North, the switch hitter. He has singled, stolen 2 bases, and scored. He bounced out to the pitcher, 1 for 2 tonight. North is a left-handed batter this year. Hitting .257. He's .331 right-handed. And .276 overall. Garner at first, a good base runner. He's stolen 33 bases this year. Patton closed that way, not in time. Red Sox leading Milwaukee 3-2, the end of 5. Baltimore beat the Yankees again 2-0. They won't let the Yankees wrap it up against them. Texas at California tonight. Second game, Yankees won. Baltimore nothing. Bottom of the 5th at Yankee Stadium. Throw to first, not in time. Yankees led Baltimore 7 runs last night, and the Baltimore Orioles came back to beat him. Now it's the Orioles winning the first, failing by 1. The bottom of the 5th, the second game. Garner again gets a good lead at first, and again Patton. Into the stretch. The pitch fouled back by Bill North. 1 strike to count. North strikes out a lot. The Royals, in fact, have struck him out 13 times this year. He's also stolen 13 bases against them. North has been down on strikes 89 times this season. A tremendous runner. Boy, if he puts the ball in play, he's trouble. Brett plays even with the bag at third and well off the line. The outfield plays him around to hit the opposite way. Wide over toward the bag at second. Mayberry holds the runner at first. So even though he's left-handed, there goes Garner. It's a pitch out. Here's Martinez' throw. They got him. He's out. Garner cut down trying to steal. The play going 2-6. And even with the pitch out, it was close. But in the top of the 4th, the A's get no runs on a hit, no errors, and nobody left. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. The A's 4. Royals 1.
You know, we've been talking about magic numbers and things like this, and, a lot of people say, well, what is a magic number? How do you determine what the magic number? Of course, the magic number being how many games are needed to win the pennant. But to determine the magic number in a pennant race, what you do is you compute the number of games yet to be played. Now, take Kansas City. The Royals have 11 games remaining. They have 5 at home, 6 away, including the one they're playing right now. So what you do is you figure out the number of games to be played, and that's 11. You add 1, which is then 12, and then you subtract the number of games ahead in the loss column. That's the so-called all-important loss column. You subtract the games difference there. Now, Kansas City has lost 63. Oakland has lost 70, so the number there is 7. So you subtract 7 from 12, and you come up with 5. And that is the magic number, the number of either Kansas City wins or Oakland losses or a combination thereof. It comes up to 5, and that's it. Kansas City has clinched the American League West Championship. So that's how you figure the magic number.
It's the bottom of the fourth at Royal Stadium. The Royals down by 3. They have the heart of the order to go at Vida Blue. It'll be George Brett, Al McClure, and Amos Otis. It was Brett and McClure that produced the Royal run in the first. George singling with 2 men out. Al McClure doubling off Bando's glove. When the night's ball game began, Al McClure leading the American League in hitting with 337. George Brett right behind at 335, and they hit safely their first time up tonight.
Thank you.
Brett now with 203 hits on the year, a Royal record. 203 hits, that's quite an accomplishment. George led the league with 195 last year. So it's Brett against Vida Blue. And Brett is hitting well. He's 4 for 8 against Vida this year. Left-hander against left-hander. The pitch line. That's Bando, and he's out. Brett hit a bullet right at Sal Bando, who took 1 step to his left to make the catch. Bando takes a base hit away from Brett, and here comes Al McClure. It reminds you, if your dog or cat deserves the best food, feed Science Diet in Springfield, Missouri. Contact Marilyn Wary. The all-season sporting kennel in Rogersville, Missouri. Contact Barbara Brooks. Here's Al McClure, who doubled off Bando's glove his first time up. Blue sets the pitch. Way outside, ball 1. Max RBI is 69th of the year. Like Brett, he's hit Blue well. He's 3 for 5 against him. There's a fly ball fairly deep into right center field. Claudel Washington on the run. He can't get it. It's up against the wall. And Al McClure on second base is going to pull up with his second double of the ball game. His 34th of the year. So Al McClure at second base would have won that out. Ooh, a stretch ball would have been past Bando. It would have been a run. But it wasn't. Let's pause 10 seconds. This is the Royals Baseball Network. Amos Otis stepping in. Otis struck out his first time up. Now the second baseman, Phil Garner, cutting in behind Al McClure, but Vida Blue wasn't paying much attention. Otis hitting 285 with 17 homers. The stretch by Vida Blue. Now the pitch. Outside and high, ball 1. John Mayberry next. Otis leading the ball club in homers with 17. It is last one on September 11th of Minnesota. It was a big one, a 3-run homer in the night that beat the Twins. The pitch, fly ball, center field. Claudel Washington drifting back. Al McClure tagging at second base. Washington makes the catch, and here comes McClure. He's going to try for third and make it. Otis flies to center. It's 2 out now. And it's 2 out. It's up to Mayberry to get the run home. He grounded out to the first baseman unassisted his first time up. John normally does not hit left-handed pitching well, but he has hit Vida Blue awfully well this year. He's 4 for 8 against Blue. His average overall against left-handers only 215. Vida has been an exception. And the Royals need one here. Frank White would be next if Mayberry keeps it going. The A's have the shift on. Here's the pitch to Mayberry. The ball misses, ball 1. Campaneris, the shortstop, behind second base. Garner, the second baseman, in shallow right. Fairly deep behind the bag at first. The outfield deep and around to right. The pitch. Ground ball, fast third. Bando backhands the ball. Long throw in time, and the inning's over. Good play by Sal Bando. Takes a run away from the Royals. In fact, Bando took 2 away that inning. He made a good play on Brett. Then backhands the ball to throw out Mayberry. And it's no runs a hit. No errors and a man left, and we'll go to the 5th. Remains the A's 4 and the Royals 1.
Well, the once mighty Oakland A's, that dynasty is still breathing, but only barely, like about 5 games in the magic number, right? Well, the A's, winners of 5 straight American League Western Division titles, including World Championships in 72, 73, and 74, arrived in Kansas City Tuesday with hopes of overhauling the Royals in a crucial head-to-head 3-game series. But that all may be a pipe dream of a bygone era now. The Royals, besieged by a breakdown of their patchwork pitching for most of the early September stretch, scored their 5th straight victory by trimming the A's 3-1 with the help of a 2-out run-scoring single by John Mayberry and another one by Al McClure. Mayberry also drove home an insurance run in the 8th with a sacrifice fly to ensure starter Doug Bird's first win since August 22nd. But more significantly, the win increased The Western Division leading Royals margin over the A's to 7 games with 11 to play. And even the Hardin Oakland veterans can understand what those kind of numbers mean. A slim possibility, but Sal Bando says they still have a chance. But even with their ace Vida Blue pitching, little question that the once-dominant A's are going to need a lot of help.
All right, Fred, Bill North has singled and bounced out. He's scored one of the Oakland runs, and Bill swiped 2 bases in the second inning. The A's with a half a dozen hits. They scored 3 in the first, and then 1 in the second. The Royals' run came in the bottom of the first. North slicing away, fouls it upstairs on the third base side. No balls and a strike. North being used as the DH tonight. A 1-strike pitch from Marty Patton. He ran up as if to bunt and took the pitch low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Otis way around in left center for North. Patton's 1-1 pitch on the way. Over the plate and low, ball 2, 2-1. Royals with the best home record in the American League, 49 wins. That is just 2 shy of the club record set last year. Patton exchanging baseballs, 2-1. Sign given, here's the pitch. Line hard, but right at Frank White. North in a rope. And White positioned perfectly, 1 away, and up comes Campanera. Campy has an RBI, and he has scored a run. He has singled and reached on an error. Royals trying to come back in this ballgame. The 3 runs the A's scored in the top of the first, unearned. Good slider on the outside corner for a strike, 0-1. Bases empty, 1 away. Here's a lineup in the pitch. Bouncing ball, Frank White charging. Over to Mayberry, 2 down. I think Campy broke his bat. He hit it right off the end of the bat. So they're 2 down, and here is Joe Rudy. Nobody aboard. Joe Rudy is wide to left, wide to right. Marty getting set into the lineup. He goes in the pitch. Breaking ball and a half-swing foul just to the side of the Royal dugout. And the count 0-1. Since the inning, the A's have just 3 singles. The 2 of the 3 hits in the first inning were extra bases, the double by Baylor for a run, and the 2-run home run by Gene Tennis. Slider stayed inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. A's 4, Royals 1. Ball game in the top of the 5th. Marty's 1-1 pitch to Joe Rudy. Up. Coming toward the pitching mound, George Brett. In front of the mound, he's got it. Side retired. The A's go down 1-2-3. And the Royals take their turn in the bottom of the 5th with the score, Oakland 4 and the Royals 1.
The Cincinnati Reds, the first division winner this season, now they want more as Cincinnati goes for the World Series title. The Toronto Blue Jays, an expansion team in the American League next year, have named a manager, 50-year-old Roy Hartsfield. He's been in minor league baseball for a number of years, and he coached Hawaii to the Pacific Coast League Championship this past season. San Diego Padres owner Ray Kroc says it's not up to him to make a decision on firing manager John McNamara. Kroc says that club president Buzzy Bavasi must do it. San Diego is 29 games out of first place in that National League West race, but San Diego had been as close as second. You might recall about 2 months or so ago as the Dodgers and the Reds were battling it out, that San Diego for a couple of days was in second place in the National League West. But the Padres have been having problems on the field, and right now are just a game and a half out of last place in that Western Division. San Diego's finished last the last 2 or 3 years there, and they might feel it's time to change directions a little bit. So apparently when you hear owners talking like that, saying that it's not up to him to make a decision on firing a manager, then you can be sure that John McNamara's days are numbered. 16 horses in the Little Brown Jug, the Pacing Classic that will be run at Delaware, Ohio on Friday. They'll compete in 2 divisions of 8 horses each. Okay, let's get back to the ball game.
Royals come to bat in the bottom of the 5th. It's the A's 4 and the Royals 1. Lower third in the batting order. That means Frank White, Fred Potek, and Buck Martinez. Frank fouled out his first time up. Blues pitch. Inside corner, strike 1. Blue trying to win number 17. Back he comes. Foul ball. Back to the wire. Strike 2. Blue, a very fast worker. No balls, 2 strikes on Frank White. The line in the pitch. Way inside. He had to jump back. Blue now 27 years old. From Mansfield, Louisiana. The 1-2 pitch, hitting right on the fist. A little nubbing pop foul. Tennis to the screen, and he makes a good catch. Gene Tennis made a one-handed catch as he was running back toward the screen full tilt. It's a nice play by Gene. Retires Frank White. And here's Fred Potek. Fred was called out on strikes in the 3rd inning. He did not like the call at all by the plate umpire, Jim Evans. Bottom of the 5th, 4-1 A's. Side of Blues pitch. Swung on and missed by Fred. He had a good cut. 0-1. In his career, Blue has been a 20-game winner. Fly ball, right field. Don Baylor fading back. He's got it, and there are 2 down. The batter, Buck Martinez. Buck walked in the 3rd inning. Buck Martinez. Base is empty, 2 down in the bottom of the 5th. Tomorrow night, Dennis Leonard against Mike Torres at 7:30. Final game of this series. After tomorrow night, only 3 home games remaining. The 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of October. Down low is Vida Blue. 1 ball, no strike. Vida has been tough on the Royals lately. He's won 4 of his last 5 decisions against the Royals. He throws high to Buck Martinez. Ball 2. Buck is the only man that he's walked. He has struck out 2. Takes a rip at the pitch and misses. 2-1. He is not nearly the overpowering pitcher that the Royals saw in Oakland. Back on the 23rd of July. On that night, he struck out 13. There's a fastball right through there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nor is he the pitcher that the Royals saw here on the 2nd of July. He lasted just 5 innings, and the Royals got rid of him. There's a fastball swung on and missed. Down goes Martinez, and with him down go the Royals in the bottom of the 5th. 5 innings have been played at Royals Stadium, and the score, A's 4, Royals 1. The Cincinnati Reds have clinched the National League West Division Championship, as we mentioned earlier. The Cincinnati doing it with a 9-1 victory over San Diego. That win gives the Reds their 5th divisional title in 7 years. Reds pitcher Pat Zachary notching his 14th victory against 5 losses, and the Reds will use the remaining games to warm up for the National League pennant playoffs. Cincinnati will take on San Diego again on Wednesday night. In those other divisional races, Pittsburgh splitting a doubleheader with the Cubs on Tuesday, and Philadelphia beating St. Louis. So that leaves the Pirates a distant 5 back in the National League East. But you have to remember one thing, the Pirates are going to have to need a lot of help because they can do it themselves. They cannot play Philadelphia anymore in the regular season. The only time they'll be playing the Phillies this year is if they wind up in a tie for first place in that National League East race. But the Pirates lost earlier on Wednesday to Chicago 4-3. Coleman picking up the win in relief. So the Pirates right now are 5.5 back of the Phils. But the Phils are in trouble themselves, trailing St. Louis 4-1 after 4.5 innings of play at Veterans Stadium. Falcone and Walker for St. Louis. Cott, Schuler, Twitchell, and Reed for Philadelphia. Those Philadelphia pitchers put in there because of necessity. However, Walker put in there because Falcone was hit in the arm with a line drive and was taken out of that ball game and sent to the hospital for x-rays. So we'll keep track on that ball game for you, and that lead will fluctuate a half a game either way of 5.5. The A's
lead 4-1. Gene Tennis leads off. Tennis, Bando, and Baylor to face Marty Patton. Marty has allowed just 3 singles since the first inning. The A's got 3 in the first, and then 1 in the second. Nub foul off the end of the bat by Tennis. Strike 1. Gene hit a 2-run home run in the first. In the third inning, he was thrown out by George Brett. So Gene, 99 hits. He takes a change that bounces in front of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike to Tennis. The A's have out-hit the Royals 6-3. Tennis asking for time. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody on, nobody out. A very slight breeze drifting now toward the left field corner. High and away from Tennis, 2-1. Right-hand batter waiting, 2 balls and a strike. Marty ready and wheels it home. Slider missed blowing outside, 3-1. Marty hasn't walked anybody. He is behind Gene Tennis, 3 balls, 1 strike. He walked him. Tennis with a very good eye. So he's aboard with none out, and up comes Sal Bando. He singled in the first, flied to right field in the third inning. Tennis, one of the few A's that you really don't have to worry about regarding a stolen base. He has 5 stolen bases that quite likely they resulted from a busted hit-and-run play. Bando can handle the bat. He takes high and inside, ball 1. So the A's could run. There's quite a gap between Mayberry and White. The Royals bullpen is active. Tom Hall is throwing. Bando swings and lofts the foul ball, backing out of play. Bruno, a right-hander who was throwing in the first and second innings, is up again. Meanwhile, Marty Patton asking Jim Evans, the plate umpire, for a new ball. Tennis, a leadoff walk. 1 ball and 1 strike on Sal Bando. The A's leading by 3. This is the middle game of the 3-game series. The Royals victorious last night, 3-1. Throw to first, the runner back. 1 strike to Sal Bando. Stockily built right-hand batter. Hot shot past Brett, base hit left field. Tennis to second base and stopping. A walk and a single. And now Don Baylor coming up. Don doubled to drive in a run in the first. His double was to right center. In the third inning, he popped out. Galen Cisco makes his second trip to the mound. Bruno and Hall continue to throw in the bullpen. The A's already leading by 3. And now trying to blow a hole in this game. George Brett and Buck Martinez have joined Galen Cisco at the mound. This meeting, as much as anything, designed to give the boys in the bullpen a little extra time to heat up. The A's have stranded only 2 runners. They left 1 aboard in the first and a man aboard in the second. The conference is over. And Marty Patton about to challenge Don Baylor. The A's have won only 2 games here at Royal Stadium. This is the 8th meeting of the year between the 2 ball clubs here in Kansas City. 2 on, nobody out. Don Baylor at the plate. Patton's pitch is hit past Brett, base hit into left. Here comes Tennis around third. He's going to try to score. Throw to the plate. He is out at the plate. They got him. Single into left is shot down by Jim Wolford. Jim makes yet another big play defensively. It is still a
a 4-1 ball game. Claudel Washington coming up. And Claudel, a left-hand batter. Whitey Herzog has gone to the mound. And that's going to do it for Marty Patton. Tom Hall, a left-hander, will be brought into the ball game. So a pitching change being made at Royal Stadium in the score. A's 4, Royals 1. To make a great combination
In the
play.
divisional races, the Pittsburgh Pirates split a doubleheader with the Cubs on Tuesday, and the Phils beat the Cardinals. So that leaves the Pirates a distance 5 back in the East. And in the American League East, the Yankee magic number holds at 3, following that loss to number 2 Baltimore. The Yankees and Orioles play at Twin Bill, and the Orioles won the first game of that doubleheader by the score of 2-0 as Jim Palmer won his 22nd against 13 losses. 2-7-1 for the Orioles. No runs, 4 hits, and 2 errors for New York. May pitching against Figueroa in the nightcap, and the Yankees are leading it by a score of 1-0 after 5.5 innings of play. In the American League West, first place Kansas City beating second place Oakland, so there's a 7-game difference in that race right now, and of course they're going at it right now. Baseball's rules may harpoon the plans of Bill Veeck to turn his roster upside down before the draft to stock the American League's 2 expansion teams, Seattle and Toronto. Veeck hasn't devoted much thought to the Chicago White Sox protected list for the expansion draft because he plans to make a few trades before the roster is frozen October 25th.
Fred White back at Royal Stadium, and the A's are leading 4-1. Have runners at first and second, 1 away in the top of the 6th. And left-hander Tom Hall has been brought in to face Claudel Washington. Fred, that's not the first time this year that Jim Wolford has made a big play in left field. Thinking back, there was a play at the plate, and it might have been the same man, Gene Tennis, who he threw out in a ball game earlier in July, right? It was on July 2nd, Denny, when the Royals had taken a 5-0 lead. The A's had battled back to tie a game in the 5th inning. Tennis had the lead run, headed home. Going to play a little bit closer than that. Maybe they're getting a bit closer than that. Wolford making tremendous throw. In fact, remember the play, he made the throw and fell flat on his face. He got so much on it that night. He cut down Tennis what would have been the lead run that night, and the Royals went on to win that ball game 8-5. They came back to get 2 runs in the 6th and 1 more in the 9th inning of the ball game. So if Wolford throwing out Tennis at the plate as an omen, maybe the Royals will come back and get this. Because of Wolford's throw, the Royals still trail by just 3. The A's with 4 runs on 8 hits. The Royals have managed to run on 3 hits. The Royals' run came back in the first inning. Claudel Washington facing Tom Hall. Tom appearing for the 29th time. He has a win and a save. Sal Bando at second base. Don Baylor, the runner at first. 1 away in Hall's pitch. A little bit high. 1 ball, no strikes. Washington has fouled out and grounded to short. A's 4, Royals 1 in the top of the 6th. Claudel, a very tough man to double. Breaking ball for a strike makes the count 1-1. Claudel Washington, broad-shouldered youngster. They say that he is a tremendous basketball player. Slider just did miss the outside corner. 2 balls and a strike. A walk and 2 singles in the inning. Tom Hall leaning in, reading signs. Now the left-hander straightens up and the 2-1 pitch. Swung and missed by Washington. Tom threw him a breaking ball to get the count even. Came up to the big leagues with the Minnesota Twins. Then went to the National League. The Royals acquired Tom from the Mets. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 on, 1 out the pitch. Struck him out. He got him with a curveball. There are 2 out in the inning, and here comes Ron Fairley, another left-hand batter. Is 0 for 2. Ron Fairley, being the veteran he is, and knowing Tom Hall as he does, might be inclined to go the other way with Tom. The Royals are playing Ron straight out. Breaking stuff, low and outside, ball 1. Bando at second, Baylor at first, 2 out in the 6th. The A's are leading 4-1. So we'll see what Fairley does with Tom Hall, and what Hall does with Fairley. Checking the runner's pitches. He pulls the ball on the ground to Frank White. Fumbles the ball. It rolls into right field. The run will score. It is 5-1 Oakland. Frank White booting the ground ball. It rolled on into shallow right field, allowing Bando to score. The Royals guilty of their second error of the ballgame. Both have been killers. Whitey Herzog going to the mound. Tom Hall certainly did his job. Phil Garner, a right-hand batter, coming up. And that dictates the pitching change. So the Royals, who played so very well defensively last night, have not played well at all defensively this evening. And as a result, they trail 5-1. So with the pitching change being made, the score is Oakland 5 and the Royals 1. Tom Bruno loosening up. He'll be pitching to the second baseman, Phil Garner. Pause right here for station identification. This is the Royals Baseball Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
Along with Fred White, this is Denny Matthews at Royal Stadium. Ball game in the top of the sixth. Tom Bruno is ready to pitch to Phil Garner. Runners at first and third, 2 out. And a run across. A walk, 2 singles, and an error by Frank White. Tom Bruno working off the stretch. He turns and throws over to first. Ron Fairley back. Ellis Valentine is homered for Montreal. Is 6th. The Mets are leading the Expos 4-2. Sign given. Bruno set at the belt. Tom sit. Over the plate, but too low. 1-0. Fred mentioned earlier the Cubs beat the Pirates today 4-3. 1-0 pitch to Garner. Again is low. 2-0. Leading the Phillies 4-1. They're in the bottom of the 8th in Philadelphia. Lou Brock is homered for the Cardinals, is 4th. Runners at first and third, 2 out. The 2-0 pitch. Long drive down the left field line. It is hooking. It is a home run. It hit the foul pole. A 3-run home run for Phil Garner. It hit the left field foul pole. The A's have just blown this game wide open. It is 8-1 Oakland. Garner's 8th home run. So that's what the error meant. 4 runs. A Royal error in the first inning meant 3 runs. The batter is Bill North. Pitch is a fastball outside, ball 1. Tom fell behind Garner, then had to come in with a pitch. And when he did, Garner hit a home run off the foul pole in left field. North plays one to center. Back goes Otis. He's there to make the catch, and that retires the side. 4 runs, 3 hits, a walk and an error. And nobody left. A home run by Phil Garner thought of that. And as we go to the bottom of the 6th, it is now Oakland 8 and the Royals 1.
Interesting situation concerning that problem with Bill Beck and trying to get his draft squared away. Each American League team in the expansion draft must lose 5 players, and each time a player is chosen from its roster, it can protect another 3, except on the last choice when only 2 players can be protected. So, according to Richards, we've got to decide what we want to do, protect the young players, protect the pitchers, or what, and then you still have to be sure to protect the nucleus of a team for next year. Now, there's been no indication in which way the White Sox might go, except that Richards would be adverse to losing his good youngsters, such as infielders Kevin Bell, Bucky Dent, and Bill Stein, pitchers Chris Knapp, Larry Monroe, Ken Kravitz, Pete Vukovich, Franco Bieros, and Bart Johnson, and outfielders Chet Lemon, George Orta, and Ralph Garb. And even protecting those, there's only 3 spots to fill before the Sox will lose their first player. And there's plenty of talent which might be selected to fill out the protected list, as catchers Brian Downing and Jim Hessian, and pitchers Ken Brett, Clay Carroll, Rich Gossage, Terry Forster, and Wilbur Wood. Wood, a veteran, could save a spot for the Sox, except that he has an alternate to declare that he will not accept a draft.
Top of the batting order, Jim Wolford, Al Collins, and George Brett. Jim Jim is 0 for 2 so far tonight. Ida Blue now with a 7-run lead. He's allowed just 3 hits. 2 of them by Hal McClure, doubles in innings 1 and 4. The other Royal hit was a single by George Fred in the first. Here's the windup by Blue in the pitch. It's a strike, 0-1. Ida now will be content to throw strikes. Breaking ball grounded to short. Campaneris has got it. Over to first base, 1 away. So Jim Wolford in for 3. The batter will be Al Collins. Al grounded out in the first, rolled to the third baseman in the third inning. Al Collins with 144 hits. Base is empty, 1 away. The Royals trailing 8-1. Blowing outside, 1 ball, no strike. Foul tip by Collins, 1 ball and 1 strike. This game tonight in direct contrast to last night's game. The Royals played very well defensively last night. Ground ball up the middle, base hit for Collins. Collins has a 1-out single. That'll bring up George Brett. Last night's game was tense and pressure-packed from the very first pitch. Bill Garner's 3-run home run, at least for the moment, has taken the suspense out of this one. Brett has singled and lined hard to Bando. 1 out of 2. The pitch to George is hit foul back on the screen, 0-1. With the left-hand batter up there, Ron Fairley, the first baseman, is playing behind Al Collins. Ida Blue from the belt pitches. Soft change outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. The A's infield looking for a ground ball. 1 ball, 1 strike to Brad. Here's the pitch. Bouncing ball towards Campaneris. He puts the second base out. Brett will be safe at first. 2 away. Collins forced out. Al McClure has doubled twice. He drove in the Royals' run. Runner at first with 2 down. The American League's leading hitter up there. Blue delivers, and McClure pops it up. It's playable. Foul territory, first baseman Ron Fairley. He tucks it away, and that's the inning. 1 hit, no runs, a man left. The Royals have stranded 3. The score after 6, the A's 8, and the Royals 1. And we go to the 7th inning, and here again is Fred. Okay, thank you, Denny. Bert Campaneris steps in against Tom Bruno. The first pitch to Campaneris is a breaking ball low, ball 1. Campaneris, Rudy, and Tennis, the number 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Bruno, right-handed batter, hitting .267. Bruno winds in a pitch. Violent swing, and he misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. Boy, I had a feeling the Royals were going to play their way back in this ball game. Instead, they played their way out of it. Errors leading to 7 of the 8 A's runs. Only 1 of their runs earned. The pitch. Inside, ball 2. The end of 6, the Yankees lead Baltimore 2-0. The second game of a doubleheader. Baltimore won the first one 2-0. The pitch. Breaking ball for a strike, and the count even 2-2. Nothing doing in the Royal bullpen at the moment. Bruno, the third Royal pitcher in this ball game. The A's with 2 home runs in this ball game have taken maximum advantage of the 2 Royal errors. 2-2 pitch to Campaneris over his head. Campaneris giving ground. That is a full count, 3-2. The A's this year have hit 16 home runs against the Royals. The Royals with 2 against the A's. Campy takes ball 4. The A's put the leadoff man aboard in the 7th. And Joe Rudy coming to the plate. Bruno now has to deal with Rudy, Tennis, and Bando. Rudy 0 for 3 tonight. He's had his problems against Royal pitching this year. He's had only 5 hits and 42 tries against the Royals. his teammates have taken up the slack here tonight. Campaneris with 53 stolen bases at first. This is the 7th year he's stolen 50 or more bases. Pitch from Bruno. Rudy takes a strike, strike one. Rudy, what a magnificent player. His average 282, perhaps the best left fielder in the game. One of the free agents on the A's ball club, he says he will not be there next year. One strike to count. In fact, a lot of people guessing he'll be with the California Angels. Wants to play in Southern California. And it'll be interesting next year. Both the Angels and the St. Louis Cardinals say they're going to open their purse strings and go after the free agents hard. The pitch. Ball one. You know, the Angels are that good young pitching. They pick up a number of the strong free agents available. They could suddenly become a much better ball club next year. In fact, they've been playing very well over the last part of the season. Other than the A's, they played better than anybody in the American League since Norm Sherry took over in late July. The pitch. By Tom Bruno, the 1-2 pitch to Rudy. There's a long belt to left. Wolford going back, way back to the wall. It's gone. The third A's home run of the ballgame. It's 10-1 A's. And the A's have wheeled out the power tonight. Their third homer of the ballgame. Their 17th of the year against the Royals. Like the magic number is going to stay at 5 tonight. Many of the fans get up and start to head for the X's with that blow. Here's Dennis, who hovered in the first to get the A's off and running. Pitch to him as a ball inside. Dennis hitting .253 with 21 homers. The pitch. There's a high fly ball, deep left field. Wolford back to the wall in the corner. He makes the catch, and there's one man out. Dennis making a bid for his second home of the game, just missed. Wolford to the wall in the left field corner. Dennis one out, nobody on to Sal Bando, who singled twice and flied to right. Bando hitting .234 with 25 home runs. Pitch to him. Inside, ball one. Now Bruno ready to pitch. Ground ball, high chopper up the middle. Frank White has it behind second. Throws in time. There are 2 men out. And it's 2 out, nobody on to Don Baylor, who has singled and doubled. The A's now with 10 runs on 10 hits. Baylor. Powerfully built right-handed batter steps in. Now the pitch. Breaking stuff low in the dirt, ball one. Now let's see. Dennis got his third homer of the year against the Royals. Rudy's his first. Garner's first. This man, Don Baylor, has 4 against Royal pitching. 2-0 to him now. Saying hello to people in Togo, Africa, and in Korea. It'd be interesting to know where all people are listening tonight. I'd like to hear from you around the world. 2-0 pitch. Inside, moves Baylor back. And it's 3 balls, no strikes. We would like to hear from you. I'll tell you how. Just write to Royals Radio Network, Box 1969, Kansas City, Missouri. Don Baylor walks. And he's avoided with 2 men out in the 7th. Waddell Washington will be the hitter. Address again, Royals Radio Network, Box 1969, Kansas City, Missouri. No matter where you are in the world this evening, we'd like to hear from you. So drop us a line. Out comes Lenny Herzog. That's going to do it for Tom Bruno. Tom has been roughed up pretty good here tonight. The Royals rookie. Given up a couple of home runs. He's walked a couple of men. Basically has worked only 1 inning. And given up 3 runs, so his earned run average will take a bit of a spin here this evening. We'll see what he wants to do. Bob Mcclure, a left-hander, throwing in the Royal bullpen. Ken Sanders, the right-hander, is ready. Whitey may not make the change. He's been out there for a while and hasn't made any indication that he's going to make a move. Now he's looking down toward the bullpen as the plate umpire, Jim Evans. Whitey's stalling for time, waiting for Mcclure to get set. Now he asks for the left-hander. Tom Bruno leaves the mound. Here's the situation. We're in the top of the seventh, 2 out, a runner at first. Bob Mcclure coming on to pitch. Scores. The Royals make the pitching change. The A's 10 and the Royals 1.
Roy Hartsfield, who has certainly paid his dues in baseball's minor leagues, finally found a major league home Wednesday as manager of the American League's expansion Toronto Blue Jays. To say that I am very happy and excited to be here would be the understatement of the year, he said. Hartsfield began his baseball career in 1943 and spent 11 of his 14 years as a player in the minors. His major league experience amounted to only 265 games in 3 years, from 50 to 52 with the Boston Braves, and he hit 273. In 1958, he became a playing manager with the Des Moines club in the Class A Western League, and then worked his way up to the AAA ranks in 1966 as pilot of the Spokane Farm Club of the Los Angeles Dodgers. He went from Spokane to Los Angeles, where he was the Dodgers coach for 4 seasons, before assuming the same duties with the Atlanta Braves in 1973. Okay, let's go back and see what's going on in Kansas City.
Left-hander Bob Mcclure coming on for the Royals, the 4th Royal pitcher here tonight. Bob has made 6 appearances for the Royals earlier this year, but it's been quite some time ago. Mcclure was sent back to Omaha early in the season and spent most of the year with the Royals AAA Farm Club. So he's back in the middle of it in the major leagues now, be it in a ball game that appears to be well out of hand with the A's in front 10-1. But there's a chance for Whitey Herzog to take a look at Bob Mcclure under fire. Tim Sanders, a right-hander that Whitey hasn't had a chance to take a look at yet, is in the bullpen, and he may be in here before the evening ends. I'm sure Whitey would like to take a look at him in a ball game sometime. Sanders acquired just recently by the Royals. They've gone to the 9th in Philadelphia with the Cardinals in front of the Phillies 4-1. The Pirates have lost. Phillies with a chance to pick up a game in the National League East, but having trouble doing it. The Cardinals got 4 runs in the first. The Phillies got 1, and it stayed that way since there. Tug McGraw is now going to pitch in the 9th for the Phillies. And now Bob Mcclure set to face Claudell Washington. Left-hander against left-hander. Washington halfway up in the batter's box. Now we have to have a timeout called. Al Cowens, the right fielder, decided to clean his glasses. Before action resumed, McClure was all set to go. Al flips the towel back into the Royal bullpen. Tomorrow night, a 7:30 ball game. It looks to be the rubber match of the series now. The Royals winning last night. The A's in front tonight. It'll be Leonard against Torres at 7:30. Might as well plan to be on hand here in Royal Stadium. Stretched by McClure. The pitch. Washington takes the ball high, ball 1. Baylor at first with 49 stolen bases has been caught only 11 times, but the 9-run lead is little likelihood he'll be running. He just wants the exercise. Throw to first by McClure. Not in time, Baylor back. The A's with 3 in the first, 1 in the second, 4 in the sixth, 2 more here in the 7th. Stretched by McClure, the pitch. Washington started the swing and then checked in time. Breaking ball outside. It's 2-0 to him. McClure ready again. Mayberry holds Baylor at first. His throw goes that way, not in time. Correction from Western Union. It was fifth homering in the 8th with a man on for Boston. His 16th. It's now Boston 6, Milwaukee 3. Stretched by McClure. 2-0 pitch. Washington takes a strike on the inside corner. The fans in left field General Mission, who were battling the A's verbally last night, appear to be battling one another tonight. 2-1 pitch. Ground ball, hits the bag. Brett has it on a big hop. Long throw, high and safe is Claudell Washington. That ball squarely hit the front of the bag. Bounced way up in the air. Brett breaking toward the line, put on the brake. Went up in the air and got it, but had no chance. The base hit for Claudell Washington, and only the fact that hit the bag saved extra bases. So here's Ron Fairley, runners at first and second now. 2 out in the 7th. And clearly a left-handed batter in against Bob Mcclure. He's reached on an error, grounded out twice. He's 0 for 3 officially. 10-1 A's, and they still have runners aboard. Now Mcclure breaks contact. Phillies average with the A's now at 227. Stretches a bit. There's a line drive center field. Amos Otis on the run. It's a base hit, and another run's going to score. It is now 11-1 A's. Fairley lines a soft single to center field and an RBI. Baylor scores. Odell Washington now at third base. And here comes Phil Garner, with a 3-run homer in the 6th. He is also singled. He's 2 for 3. Garner, a right-handed batter. The home run is 8th of the year. He's averaged 264. Still with runners at first and third, 2 out. Mcclure ready to pitch. Garner takes a strike, and he's strike 1. Well, let's think about tomorrow night. Heck with it. Still tickets on sale for tomorrow night. Come on out. 1 strike pitch, popped up. In foul territory down the right field line. Al Callen's giving it a chase. Is there to make the catch. And the inning has come to an end. Garner out in foul territory to the right fielder, Al Callen, but the A's get 3 runs. There were 3 hits. No errors. 2 men left. We'll go now to the bottom of the 7th. It's the A's 11, the Royals 1.
Baltimore Orioles right-hander Jim Palmer recorded his 22nd victory of the season. That's tops in the majors this year. Palmer blanking the New York Yankees 2-0 on a 4-hitter in the opener of a twilight doubleheader. That's his 6th shutout of the season. 1-run last-inning losses continue to haunt the Pittsburgh Pirates in their bid to catch Philadelphia in the National League East. The Pirates were beaten 4-3 by the Chicago Cubs with a winning run scoring on a 9th-inning single by Joe Wallace. That was the 5th one-run game in a row for Pittsburgh, and the 4th it has lost. It's also the 4th consecutive game decided in the last inning. The Pirates lost 3 of them. It was Marvin Miller's turn before the Senate House Committee on Sports. The director of the Players Association said club owners are not working with the union in converting the recent agreement to contract language. He also complained that it wasn't officially told of the special November draft to stock the 2 new American League teams. Miller charged the club owners are skirting violations of the labor law. The Kaiser International Open Golf Tournament begins in Napa, California Thursday with $35,000 as the first prize. Johnny Miller is seeking his 3rd consecutive title in that event. Jack Nicklaus and Ben Crenshaw are not entered. Well, the Oakland A's are rolling in this one, aren't they? Losing on Tuesday, 3-1. The A's are blasting Kansas City right now, and it appears that the A's will be within 6 at the conclusion of this ball game if things stay the way they are right now.
The 7th, it's 11-1 A's. It'll be Otis, Mayberry, and White for the Royals. In Philadelphia, the Phillies got 8 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning, and they have defeated the Cardinals 9-4. Former Royal Gene Garber got the win. He's 8-3. Walker, the loser, 1-2. The Phillies come up with 8 runs in the 8th inning, and they beat the Cardinals 9-4. And the Phillies now have reduced their magic number in the National League East to 7. They lead the Pirates by 6 with a dozen games to play. Blue winds the first pitch to Otis inside. Ball 1. Otis is struck out. He is fly to center. Well, what a comeback for the Phillies. They were down 4-1 the bottom of the 8th, and they scored 8 runs to win it. Here's the pitch. Strike at the letters. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, what the heck? The Royals need 10 to tie. Blue to Otis. Line toward left, but Joe Rudy is there. Makes the catch at the letters. There's 1 man out. Otis lines to left, 1 out, nobody on. Mayberry, the plate, and let's pause 10 seconds. This is the Royals Baseball Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
Tim Mcmullen now playing third base for the Oakland A's. Sal Bando getting a rest. John Mayberry steps in against Vida Blue. He's 0 for 2 against him tonight. Blue winds the pitch. Mayberry takes a breaking pitch outside, ball 1. Cleveland beat Detroit 3-0. Boston leading Milwaukee 4-2 after 7. Mayberry chopped one foul past first, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike. Baltimore batting the top of the 7th in Yankee Stadium. The Yankees still lead 2-0. Baltimore won the first game by that same score. Minnesota, Chicago, 2-2. The end of 4 in Chicago. The pitch to Mayberry. High fly ball. Center field, and Claudell Washington has it measured. Makes the catch. There's 2 men out. And it'll be Frank White with 2 out and nobody on. We remind you. Frank White to hit the opposite way. They open up a big gap in left center field. First pitch to Frank. Down low, ball 1. Boy, after the tension of last night. Now, by contrast, the A's winning 11-1 tonight. You have a feeling tomorrow night all that tension will be right back. 2-0 now to Frank White as Lou misses. You had a feeling last night's ball game was so big, well, you knew it was. Now you have a feeling tomorrow night's ball game is big again. The A's have evened this series at 1 apiece. With this, they hold on to win this one, and they should. Strike to Frank White is 2-1. The A's win it. The Royals will have a 6-game lead with 10 games to play. The pitch hit on the 5th and popped into foul territory. Ron Fairley, the first baseman, makes the catch. Vida Blue has a 1-2-3 inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. We go to the 8th. The A's 11 and the Royals 1.
90 women pro golfers and 7 amateurs begin play Thursday in the $205,000 Carlton. That's the tournament being played in the Calabasas Country Club course in California. That's the richest on the Ladies Pro Tour. The winner getting $35,000 plus a share of the gate. So obviously they want to get as many in there as they can. The New York Giants assigned offensive lineman Bill Eggenbottom, cut by them earlier. He played in the World Football League last year. The Indianapolis Racers of the World Hockey Association have traded center Dave Keon to the Minnesota Fighting Saints. In return, Indianapolis gets center Gary McGregor and an undisclosed future consideration. One of the nation's leading jockeys, Valerio Baeza, is taking 1 month off on the advice of his doctor. Baeza will spend about a month on a regulated program to lose weight. And boy, that's bad news for jockeys. Your weight varies too much, and they say, forget about it, pal. And obviously, they have they have saunas at every racetrack, and those jockeys, that's the key to being a pretty good jockey, is being able to control your weight. So Baeza is getting a little extra work there.
Royal Stadium, 11-1 A's. Willie Wilson has gone in to play center field now for the Royals. Amos Otis, having been seen last night here, is going to take a rest for the last couple of innings. Bob Mcclure, the left-hander, back to the mound, and he'll go at the top of the order. Bill North, Bert Campaneris, and Joe Riddy. 11-1 A's to the 8th. Once again, here's Denny. All right, Fred, Bill North is 1 out of 4. His base hit was a single in the 2nd inning. The Cincinnati Reds got by San Diego 4-3. John Gullett, the winner. Brent Strom took the loss. They had 19,536 in Cincinnati. The Reds quite likely will play the Phillies to see who represents the National League in the World Series. Johnny Bench doubled in that game. George Foster tripled. Raleigh Eastwick picked up his 25th save of the year. Bill North takes McClure's breaking pitch inside, ball 1. John Gullett got the win. In too tight to North. Bill on the right side of the dish. Gullett yielded 12 hits, including home runs by Doug Rader and Mike Ivey. That is not necessarily good news for the Reds. Gullett's performance. Grounded foul by Bill North. Don, has been ineffective all year. He's had arm problems. The Reds were hoping that by mid-August he would regain his form. But apparently not. The 2-1 pitch. High and outside. Ball 3, 3-1. Baltimore just giving the Yankees fits. The Orioles got 4 in the 8th. North hits one to center field. Willie Wilson fading back. He's there to make the catch. 1 away. Bill North flies out to center. The batter, Bert Campaneris. He has scored 2 runs. He has an RBI. Baltimore scored 4 times in the top of the 8th inning. And they have taken a 4-2 lead over the Yankees. High and outside to Campaneris. The Orioles won the first game 2-0. Outside corner strike call, and it's 1-1. So if the Yankees are going to clinch the Eastern Division title in the American League, it is not going to be at the expense of the Orioles. Outside, ball 2, 2-1. And And the Orioles are doing everything they can to see that it doesn't happen. They're just giving the Yankees fits. Mcclure's 2-1 pitch. High and away, ball 3, 3-1. Hot deck, Fred's got it. On to John Mayberry, 2 down. The batter, Joe Rudy. Joe hit a 2-run home run his last time up, 1 out of 4. The A's, 11 runs, a dozen hits. The Royals have 1 run, 4 hits. The Royals scored in the first and haven't been heard from since. The difference in the ball game, 2 errors. 1 in the first, and then 1 by Frank Clyde in the 6th. Rudy takes the strike. Contact guilty of the error in the first inning. So the Royals, normally very, very rugged defense, especially on the infield, has betrayed them tonight. But it hasn't happened often. Fly ball, right field. Collins has it measured, makes the play, side retired. So Bob Mcclure has no trouble with the A's in the top of the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th. A's 11, Royals 1.
Rookie pitcher Pat Zachary put on Groucho Marx disguise and put on quite an act in the Cincinnati Reds clubhouse, shouting Groucho-type one-liners at his amused teammates, and finally wound up trying to drink his bottle of champagne through his ear. That was the story in the Cincinnati clubhouse on Tuesday as the Reds clinched their 5th National League West championship in the last 7 years. But for the many Reds veterans, the champagne party after clinching the West title was not that much to get excited about. Johnny Bench says this is beginning to be a habit, and like many Reds, he's been in on the 5 division championships in the past 7 years. But, conceded Bench, taking a swig from his own magnum of champagne as though it was a bottle of beer, it's a nice habit. Pete Rose, the oldest player on the team at 35, also is generally subdued. He said, we've been expecting this for about a month, and he says that now we can relax and start pointing toward the National League playoffs, which will involve either the Philadelphia Phils or the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, the Pirates lost their game to Chicago earlier by a 4-3 score, 4 runs, 10 hits, and no errors. Pittsburgh 3-9-1. Chicago scoring the winning run in the bottom of the 9th inning. And Danny Murtaugh, the Pirates manager, this is about the 3rd time in the last week that the Pirates have lost the ball game in the bottom of an inning. And Murtaugh says we ought to go to a time clock on these ball games, and he said we're getting messed up in the last outs or so in these ball games. Coleman got the win in relief there. Tecalvi pitching in relief was the loser.
Cookie Rojas is going to lead off. Cookie batting for Fred Potek. Tommy Davis will be batting for Buck Martinez. Tommy has moved into the on-deck circle. By the blue on the way to win number 17. Cookie lines in the center, base hit. Claudel Washington over to play it on one hop, and the Royals have their leadoff man on. Dennis Walling is now playing in left field for Oakland. Tommy Davis, who last week, while playing for the California Angels, singled into center to beat the Royals in a ball game, appears for the first time as a member of the Royals. In Chicago, Rod Carew and Butch Weiniger have both homered for Minnesota. Weiniger's home run, his 2nd of the game, his 10th of the year. Rod Carew's home run, his 8th. Minnesota 6, Chicago 2 in the 6th. Tommy Davis chops one up along third. They're going to let it roll, and it goes foul. Foul ball. It veered off to the last 10 feet of the base. But Tommy Davis will have to come all the way back to the plate. Rojas will return to first, and the count on Tommy 0-1. Fans back to school means the 4 R's. Reading, writing, arithmetic, and Rockwell. 5-function, 4-key memory calculator. Just $16.88 at participating True Value hardware stores. Runner at first, none out. 11-1 Oakland. The A's have out hit the Royals 12-5. By the Blues, pitch to Davis. Ground ball, base hit into right field. Rojas stops at second, and the Royals have 2 on, none out. Tommy Davis, 1 out of 1 as a member of the Royals. A good hitter he is. Period. Rupert Jones will run for Tommy Davis. blue. Now the top of the batting order, here's Jim Wolford. Jim has been locked out. He's 0 for 3. Blue set at the belt. The pitch to Jim. Line to Fairley. Fairley is going to get a... Nope, he doesn't. Go for Wolford Jones as he tried to get the double play. And Rupert a head-first slide back to the bag. Barely beating the tag by Ron Fairley. Wolford lines hard to Fairley. 1 out. The batter, Al Collins. Al 1 out of 3. Singled in the 6th. 36,064 here tonight. The A's have led all the way. They got 3 in the first. And then 1 in the second. The Royals' only run came in the bottom of the first. 2 on, 1 out by the Blue. Pitches to Collins. Fastball in too tight. Ball 1. In the final game of the series tomorrow night, Dennis Leonard pitches against Mike Torres. And that figures to be a dandy. Foul back by Collins, who had a pretty good cut. 1-1. George Brett, the on-deck hitter. Blue takes the sign from his catcher, Gene Tennis, and the 1-1 pitch. Tap foul over toward the Oakland dugout. 1-2 the count on Collins. Blue getting set. Rojas at second base. Rupert Jones, the runner at first. Fly ball down the right field line. Don Baylor to the line. And a fair ball catch. There are 2 down. Collins flies out. The batter is Brett. George a single and a run scored in the first. Since then he's lined to third and bounced into a force out. Final score, Boston 6, Milwaukee 3. The winning pitcher, Dick Cole, now 6-5. The loss to Jerry Augustine, 8 wins, 12 defeats. 11,796 in Boston tonight. Brett takes a strike. Blue needle the outside corner just above the knee. Oh, Fred, that's a good crowd. The Boston Red Sox, 1 game under 500. A ball to Brett, and it's 1-1. 11,796 at Fenway Park tonight to see the Brewers. Imagine that. That's pretty good. They just had a 7-game winning streak snap last night in the thing here with a doubleheader, so maybe just a little late season interest. They're playing a lot of rookies. 1-1 pitch, way outside. 2-1 to George. 2 on, 2 out. 11-1 Oakland. The man who took all the suspense out of this game was Phil Garner, who hit a 3-run home run in the 6th. The 2-1 pitch is fouled away. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Brett. Pinch hitters came through, Cookie Rojas and Tommy Davis. Well, there's some experience between those two. Tommy Davis, 2-time National League batting champion when he was with the Dodgers. 62, 63. Twice foul and out of play down the left field line by Brett. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The stretch by Vida Blue. Brett hits it to left field. Dennis Walling backtracking and makes the catch. Walling having trouble reading that line drive, but he finally tracked it down. And that retires the side, so the Royals failed to dent home plate. Despite the singles by Rojas and Davis at the outset of the inning. No runs, a couple of hits, 2 men left aboard. And after 8 innings of play, it is the A's 11 and the Royals 1. As we go to the 9th, the Royals have a new battery. Ken Sanders now pitching. This is Ken's first appearance as a member of the Royals. Now catching John Watson. Dennis will lead off. He'll be followed by Ken Mcmullen and Don Baylor. For the A's, 11 runs, a dozen hits, no errors. The Royals, 1 run, 6 hits, and 2 errors.
and you can underline the 2. The A's have stranded 4. The Royals have left the 3. Dennis hit a 2-run home run in the first inning. He flied to very deep left field his last time up. He has also walked and grounded to third. So Kenny Sanders from St. Louis pitching to Gene Dennis. The right-hander slider low and outside, ball 1. Ken Sanders, primarily a slider pitcher, slider fastball. The 1-0 pitch. Up too high, ball 2. Hard right band line, the official mover of the Kansas City Royals. Sanders, 2-0 pitch. Nick the outside corner at the knees, 2-1. Nobody on, nobody out, the 2-1 pitch. Down low, 3-1. The A's had outscored the Royals in the previous 13 games, 56-51. But boy, tonight, 11-1. And they have twice as many hits, 12-6. There's ball 4 high. Gene Dennis draws a walk. Now Ken Mcmullen back for the first time. Ken, a right-hand batter. He's a veteran. Been around for a long time. He's hitting .214 with 5 home runs. 22 RBIs. Started his swing, held up in time. The pitch outside, ball 1. Almost strikes to Ken Mcmullen. Gene Dennis, the runner at first. Ken swings at a slider and misses, and it's 1-1. Garcia has homered in the 9th for Baltimore. It is his first. The Orioles scoring just that 1 run. And they lead the Yankees 5-2. Yankees batting in the bottom of the 9th. Down ball, base hit left field for Ken Mcmullen. Dennis stops at second base, and the A's have 2 on, none out. Don Baylor coming to the plate. Don has singled, walked, and doubled. Has scored twice and has 1 RBI. Baltimore about to win a doubleheader from the Yankees. The Orioles would then trail New York by 8.5 games. Blowing outside is Ken Sanders. 1 ball, no strikes to Don Baylor. A's 11, Royals 1. So this series will be evened up at a game apiece. And the finale tomorrow night at 7:30. Ground ball, Frank White now at shortstop, steps on the bag, throws to first, safe there. White's throw, not quite in time. John Mayberry arguing with Joe Brinkman, the first base umpire. The Royals feel that they had the double play. With White at short, Cookie Rojas stayed in the game to play second base. Runners at first and third, 1 out. To the plate, Claudell Washington. Claudell, 1 out of 4. We had mentioned tomorrow night's game, 7:30 game time, Dennis Leonard and Mike Torres. Washington spins 1 foul off third. This one comes to rest deep in the lower deck. No balls and a strike. Scoring 8 runs in the 8th. And they beat the Cardinals 9-4. The only day game in Chicago had the Cubs getting by the Pirates 4-3. Washington, a ground ball to White, to Rojas out at second. Rojas to Mayberry for the double play. So in the inning, no runs, 1 hit. 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Oakland 11, the Royals 1. Inning, Al Mcclure will lead off. Then Willie Wilson and John Mayberry. Ida Blue trying to lock up his 17th win. Boy, he has been some pitcher in the last 2 months. This will be his 3rd win in a row. It will be his 6th win of his last 7 decisions. For Kansas City, designated hitter Al Mcclure. He has a complete game in 8 of his last 11 starts. If he completes this one, 9 out of 12. Al Mcclure swings and misses. Al has doubled twice and fouled out, 2 out of 3.
Back he comes with a breaking ball in the Cray. Lofts the fly ball to center. Cardell Washington gathers it in, one out.
The center fielder, Willie Wilson.
There's Willie Wilson. Willie has batted twice officially as a major leaguer. He is 1 out of 2. His one hit, an infield hit. He's a right-hand batter. He has tremendous speed. Right of blue pitch to Willie Wilson. Strike on the inside corner, 0-1. The one-strike delivery. A high chopper over the barn. Look at Wilson run. Campaneris throwing on the run just in time. Willie Wilson just streaking down the first baseline. That would have been a bad thing to say 2 years ago. But he was streaking. Boy, he can run. There are 2 out, and here's John Mayberry. John, who drove in 2 runs last night, is hitless this evening. Right of blue, just 1 out away. 17th win. Ground ball. Campaneris positioned behind second in shallow center. Throw to first, and the ball game is over. The A's have evened the series out at a game apiece as they convincingly beat the Royals tonight 11-1, and we'll be back in just 1 minute.
Okay, that's the hometown announcers saying that. You know what the Oakland A's announcers are saying, aren't you? Don't you? They're saying, boy, they clobbered Kansas City. They wiped the streets up with them. But when you're the hometown announcer and you get clobbered, you got to pick your words very carefully. All right, Kansas City is now 88 wins and 64 losses. Oakland moves to now 82 wins and 70 losses, and the difference is now 6. So the 2 clubs are right where they are when this 3-game series started, but the numbers are getting shorter. Now Kansas City and Oakland are separated by 6 games in the loss column, and as you remember, we were talking about how to compute that magic number. Kansas City now has 4 home games remaining. They have 1 more game with Oakland. That will be on Thursday night. That game, by the way, just for your information, will not be broadcast because AFRCS is committed to carry the first presidential debate, or the debate, however you want to call it. But nonetheless, when President Ford and Jimmy Carter start talking, AFRCS is going to be there, and because of that, no ball game.